Welcome to the Dr. Arnessa show. You know, this is my birthday month and I'm just so excited. And one of the things that I wanted to do is to reach out to some women who I have been following. They don't know me from a can of paint, but I have been watching them and I said, you know what I'm gonna do for my 61st birthday? I'm gonna reach out and say, we have to get visible. So I'm reaching out to this beautiful woman. When I first saw her, and I think it's been a couple of years, first, her beauty, she's stunning. And then to see her content, oh my God, she has some beautiful content. And I'm like, I don't know her, but I'm gonna keep following her. And then years later, I finally got the courage up to reach out. And this is Fasana Patel. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, beautiful. And I said it behind the scenes, but I have to say it again. You are so beautiful, so stunning. And I know that it's your spirit just shining through your mind and your body. And I'm just so grateful. Thank you so much for inviting me on here and having me as a guest.
Thank you. Well, first, I want for people who are new to Instagram and they may have not come across your page, tell us, who are you?
Absolutely. So my name is Fasana Patel. I am a global holistic empowerment coach, and I work with global leaders and visionaries, especially females. I have a passion of supporting, empowering, and just advising women to really create a holistic structure and balance in their worlds. And I often say, Dr. Arnessa, it's not about just being the CEO of your business. It's about being the CEO of your life. And really tapping in, right? Tapping into that divine power within so that you can co-create with God and truly just receive all the blessings that your heart desires. So that's me.
And see, this is why I was drawn to you, because you and I, we're on the same page in life. It is just so wonderful. So how long have you been doing this? How long have you been, doing what you're doing now?
Yeah, so unofficially, I actually started giving my mom life coaching and advice in my teens, in my early teens.
Your mother?
My mother, so a little bit of context for you. My mother is a very strong West Indian single mom. She raised myself and my sister since I was 3. My sister was 1. And she would often do what they call back home old talk with me, right? And just talk about whatever was coming to mind.
Life.
Relationships, family, life, growth, all of it. So I remember her telling me something that she was going to do. And in my mind, I felt like I took a step back and I felt like I was watching the two of us have this conversation. And her plan, her strategy, her ideas that she was sharing with me, I was like, wait a minute, that's the wrong way to do it. That's the wrong way to go. Don't do that.
You were intuitive at a young age.
At 13, yes.
Wow.
So I basically broke it down for her and I said, Mom, listen, life is like a game of chess. And when you make the right moves, you'll win the game. It's all about strategy. It's all about, and so the next couple of years, I started providing her with that advice. And I noticed something. When she would take my advice, when she would listen to the guidance that I was sharing, she would win. And the outcome would favor her the way that she truly wanted it to. Wow. I'm not saying that her ego was satisfied. I'm not saying that, she even understood all of it at a conscious level, but the times that she did not take my advice, well, you know what I'm about to say. Things didn't go the way that she really wanted them to. And I'm like, So my journey has truly been divinely guided since I was 13. And I wanted to be a lawyer since grade 5 all the way to 3rd year university. In 3rd year, I had what I think some people would refer to as like a Kundalini moment. And I remember something.
Explain to the viewers that don't know what that is, kind of give us an understanding of that.
Absolutely. So this is my variation. Again, I'm not an expert in any of this. I just am here to speak truth and inspire people along the way, right?
Right.
what ended up happening was I had this divine download where this question had popped into my mind. And the question was, Fasana, what do lawyers do all day? And I was like, because Doc, my plan was to create this legal empire where I could serve single mothers who weren't being, treated right by the baby daddy, right? By their or because that was my experience growing up, right? My dad had a different path, and my parents have had no communication in the last 20 years,
Oh,
right?
wow.
So when I realized in third year, oh, wait a minute, so that's what lawyers do all day? I wonder if I would enjoy doing, no, that's not me. And I decided to change my mind. I gave myself permission to break the dream, the goal of being the first lawyer in my family and really taking a stand to honor my mother and just defend her and just build a life of purpose around her and her strength and her beauty and everything she was able to give to my sister and I. And I said no. So I was studying sociology at the time. And then after graduating university, I ended up like most people, right? 90% of people who go to school without a definite plan. And I ended up working at an inside sales and customer service job for a few years until Spirit spoke to me again and was like, yeah, quit this job, go study holistic nutrition and just continue to follow your heart, follow your passions, continue to invest into yourself and just because becoming the best version of ourselves is a process.
Yes. Say that,
right?
sister. It is.
It's a lifelong journey. Like you said, we're learning every single day through every experience and moment and conversation. And so that's what's led me to being this motivator, this empowerment coach, and just speaking life into people when they have their low moments or experiences, because we all do, right? It's part of the human experience.
Now, let me go back a little bit to something you said. When you were in law school and you decided this is not who you are, this is not what you want to do, what did your core people around you say? Did they think you had lost your mind?
Good question. So just for the record, I didn't actually apply to law school. This epiphany had come to me in third year university before.
Oh, okay.
Thank goodness, right? Because how many times do we hear it from other people, right? Don't do what you're going to do because your parents want you to do it, or it's where the most money is at, or the title is the most prestigious. That's all ego, right?
Yes,
that's all typical conversation. When I decided to change my mind, I didn't actually broadcast it. I didn't share my plan with a lot of people because I still wasn't grounded in the newfound vision of what it is that I wanted for my life. I think women like us, we trust ourselves, we trust in God, we trust in our abilities, but the way we decide to show up is always from a place of poise and beauty and confidence because we've worked very hard to become who we are, right?
Yes.
I didn't tell anybody, but there have been many moments along my journey where I decided to truly walk in faith. And in business, people would say that that's being called taking a calculated risk, right? Right?
Yes.
So, and people looked at me and they're like, "You're doing what now?" I'm sorry, you are. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'll see you in a year. We'll talk then, right? Like, so I've just, I've always done my best to understand that I am so much more than my thoughts. And that led me down a 20-year journey, believe it or not, 20 years of truly understanding the human psyche and why we think the thoughts we do, as well as why humans behave as we do. And so now it's like, and you get it, right? I can see
Look, I'm listening to I'm listening to you. I'm like, this girl, oh my goodness. You and I have so much in common because I know when I became a minister, I have friends and associates that are all different nationalities, all different spiritual backgrounds and religious backgrounds. And I had to let them know that I'm about the spirit. It doesn't matter what you believe as long as it's a God, you know. I because it's so many different, you know, religious places, but it's, to me, it's the spirit. And if you allow, like yourself, you're letting God lead you. And that's one of the things that I tell women. Let God lead you. And if you do, your path is going to be better than anything that you could have come up with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Our job, you know what? I always say this to my team and my inner circle. I said, listen, I would not have gotten to where I am today. I wouldn't be blessed to have all of the divine skill sets and strengths that I have today if I didn't realize a few years ago that following my intuition, following the guidance of my higher self, even when no one else understood it, if I hadn't taken that, you know, leap of faith and then done what I did, including a lot of very high level mindset and quantum trainings, healing courses, all of these things involving energy medicine. My job is to continue showing up as the best version of me, taking care of me, mind, body, soul, and then figuring out my title as I grow. Because if I truly believe in God the way that women like us do, then I will not only, like, love is action, right? I'm not just going to talk about it. I'm going to be about
Be
it.
about it.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What
Good.
is holistic empowerment?
Great question. My response, okay, so my question to you, do you want us to speak to our female audience out there, or should we make this gender neutral and just talk to
I
everybody?
think it could be anybody because you never know who's going to see this video. I'm going to have it on different Instagram and Twitter and all, so you never know who's going to watch it.
Okay. So holistic empowerment is you understanding that you are truly co-creating your reality in life with God, right? With
Yes,
whatever higher power you believe in, whether you want to say the universe, whether you want to say source energy. I like to just keep it simple and say God.
me too.
And right. I don't have a specific religion other than love. Love is my religion. And again, it's a universal language, which is why you were able
Yes,
to see so clearly. And this, ladies and gentlemen, this is our first actual conversation. We've never met before, but you think that she's been my soul sister for years now, right? No, this is our
right.
first conversation. So someone who decides to empower themselves holistically is a person who truly believes in the fact that they can create abundance in every area of their life, in their
Yes,
business and finances, in their relationships, in their health and wellness. It's about truly prioritizing the desires and needs of your soul and learning how to communicate through yourself, mind, body, and spirit, so that you're showing up as a peaceful, productive, prosperous person. That's how I would define holistic empowerment.
you are so, because I can remember when I was younger, I always knew I had a prophetic gift. But of course, I wasn't trained on it. But here lately, I have been in the last several years. But I can remember having feelings about stuff, but just not really walking into it. And I'm so glad that you're talking about how you have to, I guess, be available to listen to the spirit, God speaking to you. And I think a lot of people don't really understand how to do that.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
once you can get fine-tuned into knowing that spirit, oh my God, it's mind-blowing.
It's the best love you will ever experience in your life. It will be your strength and it will be your safe space. It will be your heaven on earth,
Yes.
regardless of everything, anything that you go through, because everything we go through is meant to grow us.
Right.
And I know it took me a long time to truly, first of all, develop the divine reframes that I now live according to. Those are the laws in my life. Those are the rules that I play by, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, it's like I feel so blessed because so many, so many very influential, powerful leaders around the world. They entrust me with some of their, let's say, negative thoughts or limiting beliefs, understanding and knowing that all I'm going to do, because this is how I'm hardwired, this is what I always desire to receive when I'm in a low place. It's just love and inspiration and a reminder of who I really am. Right? I think the best way that we can love each other is speaking to our higher selves and working through the challenges and shifting the perspectives that are keeping us at a lower vibration than where we truly authentically desire to live. So it's just a blessing, because learning, I have a great story for you. I think you'll appreciate this one.
Okay, I love a good story.
Okay, here we go. Because no one believes this until I really get into detail, but I have truly experienced what living hell on earth means. And again, yeah, our stories will either define us and make us into who we're looking to grow into becoming, or they'll break us.
Yes.
And my mom did such an exceptional job of raising my sister and I. She provided so much for us. She put us in extracurriculars. She spent as much time and energy with us as she could while working multiple jobs and being the amazing hustler of a woman that she was, so that we could support ourselves. And what's crazy is that the way that I would view and perceive the world from a very young age was in a very negative lens.
Okay.
It was almost like I had some sunglasses that had built-in filters of scarcity, lack, and depression built into my perception and the perceptions that I had about my world and about the world and life. And so I was very angry with God when I was a kid. When I was a child, I was raised in between two religions. My one side was Indian and Hindu with the religion there, and then the other side was Christianity. And I was in between, right? I was an in-betweener, and I really didn't get the opportunity to learn about God or Jesus the way that a lot of people are raised. So there was a lot of confusion and misunderstandings for me in my life. So
I can imagine.
Right? So I was not a happy, I was like, God, I'm such a young, pure woman, girl. Like, why am I going through this? Like, don't you love me? Now, this is why self-awareness and self-healing and truly understanding why you're going through what you're experiencing is so key. Because I was a young girl who lacked the love and attention and affection with my biological father. So to feel that God had forgotten about me and shut me out, it actually created quite a lot of trauma that then programmed my subconscious mind and created my behavior the way that it was. And so, I look around today and I see all of these adults who are operating as wounded inner children, living these grown-up adult lives.
Yes, yes.
And it's like, this is what motivates me. This is what keeps me going,
Yes.
right? I'm so blessed to finally share that I've finally done the work, the inner work. I've finally proven to God and been consistent on this journey that I'm setting up abundance in every area of my life the way that I share with people in the most beautiful, abundant ways possible that will truly allow me to just express my soul, express my truth, share this love of God that I've been blessed to experience. It did not happen overnight. And there were so many times, actually, you know what? I felt like just quitting life, quitting everything. Like last week I was like, because it's starting to get cold here in Toronto.
Oh, okay. You're in Canada?
In Canada, I am. So I'm just like, I desire to be on a beach. So I'm like, you know what?
We all do.
Right? So for those of you watching this that are inspired to start again or to redefine the way that you truly want to experience this thing we call life, you get to set yourself up for success. You get to make the rules.
Yes.
So for me, I've designed my life in a way where I can run any of my 3 businesses from any beach, island, or tropical destination of my choice.
That's the way to
And,
do it.
right. So we all can do this. It does take work. It takes effort. It takes mentorship and coaching and a lot of guidance, trials and tribulations. But why not live in a peaceful way, especially with everything that's happening now in the States with politics and with the election?
Yes.
Why
I,
can't
I I wrote a book. It's called Your Life Movie. And I believe everyone can design their life the way that they want it to be. Now, I tell my ladies that I work with now, you can have a horror movie, you can have a drama, or you can have, a love romance. I mean, it's just how you want your life to be. But it takes you every day working toward that. Like you were saying, I think you said be the CEO of your life. Well, mine is like be the director, like the director directs the movie, which is your life. And I think sometimes people think they have to just be on automatic pilot. They just have to take what's given, and that's really not correct. Once you fine tune and get into who you are and whose you are, speaking of God, you'll just realize, like you were saying something about you had standards for your life. And a lot of people, men and women, they don't set standards for their life.
Yep.
I mean,
So
it's sad.
see, when you really understand as a human being that you have the potential within you to truly become superhuman,
Yes,
superhuman meaning that God lives within you. God lives within
yes,
everything, all of us, all things living and non-living, right? When you
yes,
understand that the dream life that you have within your mind, you can actually achieve and attain that life within your reality if you're willing to, release what no longer serves you so that you can accept the blessings that you're working towards. Like
yes.
people like us, Doc, I feel like because we still have our struggles at
Oh
times, we still
yeah,
have challenges, we still have the human moments that have us crying our eyes out and just, needing a shoulder to lean on or a hug, right?
yeah. I should be a size 6 and a millionaire.
We can work on that. Hey, we can work on it.
Yeah,
That's what you
I'm,
want.
I'm working on
Yeah,
it.
right. So it's just crazy because there's so much power and love that lives within us. Like we are love at our core. But
Yes.
tell me something. Why is it that 90% of humanity is walking around with so much hate and anger, rage,
I
unsatisfied? Like it doesn't make sense. And
it
so,
makes no sense.
no. So I love and appreciate people like yourself because you know that they say it in the streets, right? Real recognize real.
Yes,
And
yes,
I love and admire that we are the type of people that truly have committed to becoming the change that we want to see in the world. We don't just talk
yes,
about it. We don't just
yes,
whine or complain or gossip about it. We are taking real life action by becoming women of influence, by becoming leaders in the world, by starting businesses so that we can actually manage our time and spend time doing the things that are important to us that actually
yes.
matter, right? So that we can, because peace of mind, like, I mean, I don't know about other people. I had a very difficult time truly being authentic when I worked at a full-time job. And I'm not knocking full-time employment. We need it for the
Right.
economy to hopefully somewhat soon to thrive. But for some people like myself, I can only speak for myself. I'm the type of person that requires a lot of solitude throughout the day. I
Hmm.
need my time with God because that's
Yes.
when I can hear him clearly.
Right.
Right? If you think about it, one of the biggest problems that we face in the world with people that don't necessarily prioritize their time to honor their feminine energy and spend time in solitude and pray, meditate, journal, visualize, do the goal setting, work out, do all the
Ooh,
things that, right? People don't realize those are power moves. Like when you commit to
yes.
doing them every single day, you will become more clear of a channel. You will become healthier, sexier. And when we feel good, when we look good, we feel good. And then we perform
Right.
our best, right? So it's like,
Exactly.
this is just my success cycle that when I fall off, I look at what I'm doing and I'm like, okay, wait, I'm not working out. I'm not eating super clean. I'm not having my shakes. I'm not, and then it just allows me to reset myself. So
Right.
it's such a blessing and an honor to live in this space where you are recognized for doing your best and being your best, but also to develop relationships, right? Like the one that we're
Yes.
doing right now. And who knows
With,
what the future holds,
with
right?
like-minded women, because of course I'm sure around you, around me, we don't always see those like-minded people. Like the women who I've ended up talking to that I've never met before, I watched them, I saw what they put out. And then once we start speaking like you, I see what that attraction was, because like attracts like. So, oh wow, it's just I'm just so excited that I get out of my comfort zone to reach out, and that you accept it, because I really think the things that we're talking about, when people see this video, it's going to help them, because we all have stories. We see people on the Instagram and different videos, and we just think, oh, well, they look like they don't go through nothing. We all go through things. It's just how you handle that, like you were saying. We all have, I call it, where you go through things, you want to make it a testimony to help somebody else. But if you die going through, how can you be a testimony to anybody? You
If
could
you
have
can't even
used
help
that.
yourself,
You said what?
right? If you can't even help yourself first, there's a reason why when we're on a plane, we're supposed to put our safety mask on first
Yes,
before we
yes.
anyone else. This is such a great conversation. We gotta segue for a second, because this is why so many women, divinely inspired women, actually fail and don't get to that place of truly loving themselves, because they don't learn how to communicate effectively. They don't
Mm-mm.
learn how to speak their truth. They don't learn how to set healthy boundaries for themselves,
Not at
right?
all.
Allow themselves to be used and abused and mistreated because that's what they're supposed to do. When it's
Right.
like, no, like, no, you need to learn how to love yourself first, because again, we also teach people how to treat us.
Yes.
So for
That's
me,
very important.
it is right. We're in everything we do, we're teaching people how to treat us, right?
Right.
I mean, every single thing that we do, we're also speaking and commanding the universe to deliver to us what we desire. And this is my favorite conversation, because in my opinion, I just want to live a peaceful, harmonious life of love, abundance, and adventure, while
Yes.
focusing on helping the right people that I'm called to help and serve. Simple,
Yes.
right?
My husband is always amazed. We can go somewhere and we don't know anybody, and he said strangers will come up to me and start
Good.
talking. He's like, first he thought it was when we first got married, because we only been married about 12 years in January. When it first started happening, he was like, you just thought, But then when it happened over and over, I said, Larry, I think they feel my spirit is something that sometimes when
They
people are
do.
going through, they need a light. I said, I think I'm that light, because I mean, I could be in the airport sitting over by myself. Somebody gonna come sit by me and start talking. And I feel that that's the same way you are, because I mean, your beauty, first of all, but once you start talking, they're like, okay, I understand why I needed to talk to you, because you had something to share. It- it's it's just awesome.
You
Let
know,
me ask you this.
yeah.
Why is it necessary for women in and out of entrepreneurship to develop emotional intelligence? And that's something that I hadn't heard a lot about, emotional intelligence. So I'm excited.
Okay. Where to begin? That's such a great question. And for women like us to be successful, we require the skill set of having a high level of emotional intelligence.
Okay.
There, there's a reason in entrepreneurship, if you look back historically speaking, there's a reason why a lot of men would thrive and succeed in business where women were. And again, there's a lot of social factors that play into this conversation, but I am always having a conversation to anyone I'm speaking to from a subconscious place.
Okay.
I just want us to be aware of the patterns that we've adopted as women that we're responsible for healing, working through, and growing from, right?
Right.
Emotional intelligence means that things in life will happen to you, but you don't let those things throw you off of your game. You don't let those things bring you down and hold you down.
Right.
It's learning how to identify and process through your emotions to understand why you're feeling the way that you are, but also remember the vision, remember the goal, remember what it is that you set out to work towards.
Yes.
Because I always talk in energy. I always talk in from a place of vibration. So if you're here currently and you want to be a multi-millionaire, successful woman or successful entrepreneur with an amazing team support system, well, there's a different frequency of based on where you currently are. Your job is to raise your vibration, match the frequency of the desire, and believe it or not, everything you desire will actually come right to you. It'll sort you out, right? It'll find you. So the issue with a lot of people and women, and I speak from experience because believe it or not, I'm very sensitive. I'm very emotional. I cry at everything. I cry at everything, right? I'm like, oh, gotta start walking with some tissues or Kleenex. But if I let, and I think I can speak on behalf of both of us, because if we let all of the things that came into our lives to test us, bring us down and hold us there, we would not be sitting face to face having this conversation today.
We would not. We would not. That's why one thing you were saying about, you were talking about, you cry stuff. I'm very sensitive and I cry stuff. And so, you know how sometimes you cry, you don't want to cry. And then one day I said, God, I'm like, why I cry so much? I don't want to cry. I want to be, tough. And God said, I built you to be sensitive so you can feel my spirit and my words to be able to help other people.
Yes.
And I'm like,
here's to my eyes right now.
I'm like, what? Because
Yeah.
I was thinking it was something bad. Because even my husband, he said, girl, you can look at a commercial and you start crying. But God was telling me that he built me this way. Because a lot of people are hardcore. They don't feel nothing. You can tell how they act. It seems like don't nothing touch them. He said, I didn't make you that way. He said, because I am a nurturer. I am a healer. I am all of these things. And I need you to be sensitive to the spirit, sensitive to the guidance. Because, sometimes when God guides you, it's not like we're talking. He can give you a vision. He can just, he communicates to you, and you have to be aware. Yes. And if you don't have that sensitivity, sometimes you can miss out on some stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I resonate with everything you just said. And it's like a lot of people want to understand and know God, for example, the way that we have. What they don't realize is that you have to, they always say you got to make sacrifices in order to achieve the success you want. Well, I don't like to look at things that way, because learning how to honor myself as the divine woman that I am, I don't necessarily resonate with certain words that a lot of people will teach using. Instead, I'm very conscious of how I choose to invest my time and who I choose to invest it with. Right? So when
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, I think we all did. I mean, I think we are supposed to, but somebody said something to me the other day that really just, I felt it here. They said, thank God I don't look like what I've been through.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, I'm taking that one. That was good, because at the end of the day, God has a very unique life purpose for each and every one of us as individuals. And it's
Yes.
unique, authentic, divine blueprint that's already within us.
Yes.
But
Yes.
until we surrender things like and if you want to talk in terms of sacrifice, this is what I believe we have to sacrifice. It's our ego. It's our, limiting and limiting beliefs and negative emotions. It's
Mm-hmm.
stuff that, and again, I know this conversation is a deep conversation, but at the same time, at the end of the day, it's like when you truly realize that you're simply a vessel, you're just a vessel, purify your vessel, cleanse your vessel,
Mm-hmm.
heal, address the inner wounds that you may not have taken the time to pay attention to and heal. And yes, it does take time. It is a journey in itself. It's a process. But at the same time, it's like, I rather live this journey of continual learning, constantly being mindful of how I'm showing up and my behavior versus build someone else's dream because that's the way that we were raised and taught to do.
Right.
So, I mean, emotional intelligence is important because if you want to be a leader, if you want to be someone that's successful in life and in business,
Mm-hmm.
then you need to learn how to manage your emotions so that you're operating as your best self, you're operating as your highest self. Because, and my mentor taught me this year, oh my goodness. He said, Fasana, stay patient, stay focused, and just stay obedient to God because time will either promote someone or it will expose someone.
Yes.
And I was like, amen to that. I will just stay getting promoted because
Mm-hmm.
we have an agreement and we're good, right? So I absolutely love that. And again, we're all emotional beings. We all have feelings that we need to process, but it's about whether or not we choose to make choices and decisions from those emotional spaces. And if we did that, then we'd be operating from a place of ego versus allowing our higher self to steer the bus, right? And continue to divinely guide us along our path and journey. So.
Saying that, this is what came to me. Once you find your self-worth and know that you are worthy, and I think so many people, they don't think they're worthy. Like, who am I for God to use me? I did this when I was growing up and I said this. But I think once you know that you are worthy, you are a vessel, he can use you. Because if you read the Bible, he used a lot of folks that wasn't the best characters. But I think that's sometimes when I talk to women, they just their self-worth needs working. And I think when you work on that, your self-worth, then you're open to the goodness that will come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I came up with a saying about 6 years ago. And I just realized I didn't answer your first question, which was how long have I been doing this? And professionally, I've been coaching for almost 7 years now.
Oh,
So,
wonderful.
yeah, I've been studying human behavior and potential for the last 11 years. And it's just been such a beautiful journey of understanding how to make the right choices and how to think
Right.
self, right? Because unless you take that responsibility, even with my partnership, I mean, like, I love the fact that there are men in this world who do have the ability to lead us. And at the same time, my job is to just effectively communicate my desires because in an equally yoked partnership, he's going to want to give me everything I desire and deserve anyways, and vice versa,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Exactly.
So it's been 7 years almost, and it's just been such a blessing and an experience to be able to show up as my authentic self and just, be a blessing and serve, right? The way that I do authentically, which really and truly, I spend a lot of time doing self-care. I do a lot of healing work throughout the day for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I'm thinking things that aren't in alignment with that divine mind, um, you got to do the clearing work, right?
You
have to, because if you don't, you're not going to grow the way that you're supposed to. And if anyone's watching this and you fit into that category of not feeling worthy or not understanding how to allow God to use you as a vessel, think of it like this.
Okay.
We're all puzzle pieces in this beautiful divine plan of his, divine orchestration, right? We're
Yes.
all just here to show up as the best versions of self and create abundance, happiness, peace, prosperity, and harmony within our lives as individuals. If we all took responsibility for ourselves to do that, imagine what the world would look like. Imagine,
Yes.
right? We'd all be able to connect at this level the same way that Dr. Arnessa and myself connected for the first time today. We'd be able to speak to people on a soul level versus the shallow conversations that we think we have to have because it's not appropriate to speak to someone at a level where it's like, no, but especially for me, Doc, look, I'm a professionally trained coach and I've been studying this for a long time. What do you think that means? I see people and I can see through them. I see through the bullshit. I see their soul. I see what the real problem is in their lives. I see what it is that they might not have even decided to have the courage to face for themselves because it's so deeply rooted in their subconscious mind, right? So it's just, I mean, I'm just a big kid at heart. I just want to have fun and make people laugh and smile and feel good. And I desire the same thing to be given back to me. Is that so much to ask for? I don't think so.
I have so many people saying, Arnessa, I can't believe you're in your 60s. I said, well, I don't feel like I'm in my 60s. I said, I feel like I'm that little girl still playing house or playing dress up, you know, having tea parties with my friends. But one thing I wanted to talk to you about is the self-care. Yeah. Growing up in the 60s, in the 70s, when I was, you know, still in my parents' house, I was always that girl that liked the frilly stuff and the bubble bath, still to the day, you know, the bubble bath stuff. But a lot of times we were taught, you know, that's frivolous and, you know, you shouldn't spend your money. Like, for instance, when I would get my allowance, you know, I wanted to get some bubble bath, I wanted to get some fingernail polish, you know, the girly stuff. And that helped me. That made me feel good. And, you know, and even to this day, I think that's why I'm always smiling and happy because I still know the importance of self-care.
Absolutely. And it shows. You're beautiful. You're gorgeous.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And, you know, I actually have redefined my entire coaching program that I offer clients to basically a self-care, self-love foundational program for women. Because what's happened in our world is that, first of all, we live in a society where we have an overload of information.
Oh, yes.
Overloaded. And what happens to your computer when it's overloaded? It crashes.
It crashes.
Do we not like the same thing happens to us as human beings, right? And so was the question around like the importance of self-care? Is that what you want me to talk about?
Why is it necessary to prioritize a self-care routine? What is the importance of that?
So let's wrap it back around to the conversation about having a divine mind.
Okay.
Right? We cannot hear God speak to us, or we won't be able to read the universal signs that are always speaking to us and being delivered to us if we are constantly on the go, if we are constantly, consistently doing our best to get stuff done. I think that that's an old school paradigm that is basically working harder versus smarter.
Girl,
so, yes,
you read my mail now.
It's the truth. So I mean, we have experience that we're supposed to, that we're called and led to talking about, right? Which is why we're having this conversation. But I know how it feels to be very overwhelmed mentally, right? We have 4 bodies. We have a spiritual body, a mental body, an emotional body, and a physical body. And if we are not harmoniously prioritizing the love of self, then we're going to be out of balance and things are going to be out of whack. So self-care really speaks to all four of those bodies.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's so beautiful because I was literally just reading, oh, it's on my iPad. I thought it was here. I could pull it up. I was just reading something about the art of yoga, because one
Mm-hmm.
of the things that keeps me at my best, which means I have a peace of mind, which means I have focus. My level of focus is crazy, doc. Like I can accomplish more things than the average person can do in a week in probably 4 hours.
Wow.
Because when you understand the importance and the level of focus that you can attain for yourself, but now I have a container for that to happen. I have a boundary, right? I have a way of knowing how to do that. I need
Mm-hmm.
to be in complete solitude. I cannot be around other people. Even if others are in the house, I can
Mm-hmm.
feel their energies. It's not, I
Yeah.
need that space to be completely quiet so
I
that I
thought
can,
I was the only one like that.
no, I'm right here with you. I am right here with you. I mean, it's beautiful because why spread tasks that need to get done for you to get from A to Z out if you can just get it all done in a few hours or in a day? And then does that not buy back the rest of the time that you have
Yes.
for things like
Yes.
self-care, for things like, so yoga is about taking a whole system and harmonizing the parts within that whole. And I think that this concept of holistic living, that's literally how I see everything at this point. I see everything as being so connected. And self-care is something that I teach my clients to prioritize. And I teach them how to have a quadrated schedule where from 8 a.m. in the morning until noon, it's their morning routine time. But guess what? That's actually quadrant 2, because the first quadrant is from midnight to 8 a.m., which is sleep, right? You got to
Right.
rest your brain. You have to allow your body to actually rejuvenate and replenish. The
And
body,
that's so important.
we actually detoxify in the night while we're sleeping, which is why it's
Mm-hmm.
important to prioritize the 6 to 8 hours of what you personally need for yourself, right? But how many times do we see entrepreneurs and even just passionate people who are wanting to stay up all night, pull all-nighters, and that's not a holistic strategy. You will burn out,
Right.
you'll
I
make yourself
can't. I
sick.
can't do it. And what you're saying, girl, you just don't know how you are speaking. You speaking to my heart because I used to be one of those kind of people that I was working all the time and I was doing, stuff on the house. Can't nobody do it like I do it. I'm gonna do it and it's gonna be done correctly. And then I took this course. It was talking about being more queenly. And I already thought I was a queen.
Mhm.
But then when it said, how you need to ask for help,
Yeah.
you know, not do it all yourself,
Mhm.
take time for the self-care. I had to look at things totally different. I said, I've been the queen, but I've been the queen and the maid. I had to pivot and regroup.
Mhm. You had a quantum pivot moment. And
I I did.
what I don't think a lot of women understand is that being a queen is multidimensional. Being a queen has levels, right? You could say you're a queen and then go out on the street and act ratchet and act like, like everyone else. Like, I mean, no, being a queen to me means that you've done the inner work to be able to divinely manifest what your true heart's desires entail. Now, for some of us, like myself, it's taken me many moons to really understand why my mind works the way it does and why I think
Hmm.
thoughts. And it takes work to actually rewire the way that you operate. But at the same time, even when times were tough and, the tears were flowing, which, by the way, emotions are simply energy in motion. So if you feel
Okay.
to cry, you just give yourself that space and you just wrap yourself, hug yourself, and you just cry. Cry with the intention that you're releasing toxic energy that no longer serves you.
And here lately, I can tell I'm really going into a different level because I don't cry as much as I used to. I was used to drop, but now it's like, okay. I was thinking the other day, normally if something like this would happen, I would cry. But
Right.
it's like, I'm not gonna, I don't have the desire to cry at this time. I'm like, go, girl.
Win.
Yes.
We celebrate those moments, right? Like, hey, that is a win. Yes, because like women like us go through a phase of being a true empath. We can absorb, and we do absorb feelings and emotions from family members, people that are close to us. For me, it got to the point where every time I have a mental breakdown, one of those moments where I'm like, Lord, what is going on here? Because I am processing energy within my body that I don't understand. And it kind of feels like there's a hurricane, a tornado, and a tsunami and an earthquake happening inside me all at the same time. And it's like,
Like, let me hold on.
it's like, and literally, I can remember times where I would fall to my knees and I would just give myself permission and bawl, cry my eyes out. And what we don't talk about often enough is that we hold emotions, we hold memories, we hold data and information in our cells. And
That's
when you think about,
subconscious.
right, the power of the subconscious mind is phenomenal. And
Yes.
when you think about our ancestors, right, when you think about the women who went through what they went through in order to birth our grandparents, who birthed our parents, who birthed us, well, the times have changed quite a lot. And something that I admire and respect so much about you, because you embody it, is the fact that you understand the way that our modern world works, but you still draw from the holistic, the Eastern philosophies, the choices that you can make to really fill your cup first, because too many people, and women especially from the places that we come from, right? And I'm just going to say it, especially women of color, right? We are subconsciously conditioned for the most part to pour from a cup that's not even half full and then drink
Girl,
the cup,
it's
right?
like, it's just almost depleted. Like, is it anything in
Yeah. And it's like, I don't even got a drop left in that cup. Like, what am I? And the
But I'm gonna do it. I'm ready to go. I'm gonna do it.
exhausting. And it's like, as you go through this journey of empowerment, right, of self-empowerment and what I'm calling now holistic empowerment, it's like, wait a minute, how do I fill my cup so much so that I am overflowing, and the energy is just spilling out into a saucer beside my cup, and I serve from that place,
Yes, yes,
because then I'll always be full and I can always give more because I have more. That's one of the
yes.
problems that a lot of us we face. We want to give so much because we know that it's the divine thing to do. We're here to be a blessing to other people, but at the same time, you cannot give what you don't have.
You can, oh my God, look, that right there could be a show.
A
You
whole,
cannot, you cannot give what you don't have. Oh my goodness. So, we're going through this pandemic,
yes.
and I know there are a lot of entrepreneurs that are making some huge quantum changes in their business. Some of the ladies that you work with, what are some of the things that you're seeing?
A lot of the things that I'm seeing are people setting themselves up for success through online businesses.
Yes,
Right
yes.
now, online business is the place to be. I actually started another online business because I mostly do coaching online nowadays as well.
Okay, that's what I've been doing online and through Zoom.
Exactly.
Zoom has become my best
And,
friend.
right? No, nobody would know what I'm wearing underneath the shirt because nobody can see below the box. So I mean, as long as the box looks good, we're good. But um, online businesses are definitely something that I think every single person in the world needs to take advantage of,
Yes,
because we've been shown, you know, I love the quote that people are using. Mother Earth, it has sent us all to our rooms to make us
yes,
about what we have done, right?
yes.
And so
Sit
definitely
down, think about some things.
right? And I mean, who would have thought that some people would find it this challenging to sit beside the person that they chose to marry, and it would be that difficult to live under the same roof? I mean,
Just talking about this on another show.
yeah.
I have had so many people that I'm coaching that are saying, I think I'm going to be going through a divorce. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it's really, I mean, I understand that conversation. And every time I hear anything like that, it's like, well, what if we just sat down for a moment, right? And what if we just thought about what we could do to improve our circumstances? So we all have access to Wi-Fi for the most part. And if anyone out there is interested in an online business opportunity, I have an amazing one. Reach out to me. I'd be happy to share.
But what we're going to do, I'm going to get all your little information and the things going on. And so when they see this video, they can just look down at the bottom and it's going to have all of your information and stuff, all your goodies.
But quantum shifting, I mean, it's such a great question, because I personally would advise every single one of us to really take a step back and actually learn about what your soul truly desires. Because this is something that I personally do on a quarterly basis with myself, because I change so often. I change in terms of, do I want to make this more of an active season of putting more hustle in? For the first 7 months of the pandemic, I was sitting at my desk and working for 7 hours on back-to-back calls straight. That's not something that I normally do, because again, it cut into my self-care time. So
I was redecorating the house.
Yeah.
I took that time. Yes.
Breathing a little bit here. There we go. But the point that I was making there is that if I hadn't decided to step into that level of self-discipline, I do not know how I would have segued into this pandemic lifestyle the way that we've been told to. I am a free spirit. My body would be on a beach. I'm telling you, it's been like 2 months. I'm sitting here like, where is my passport?
Like somewhere, can I go just somewhere?
Right? And it's like, okay, I will be more patient. There's still work for me clearly to get done here. And, you know, it's really important for us to become more present in our lives, to our families, to the people that we love the most, to, you know, just future planning for ourselves. And, you know, a beautiful thing is that so many people that I know have actually, and this is another reason why you want to learn about my community, because we provide abundant energy. When you're surrounded with abundance, you become abundant, right? You become the environment you choose to surround yourself in. So I actually have been experiencing the opposite, where a lot of people are finding, you know, the love of their lives or their soulmates, or they're entering into new relationships. And it's, I mean, you know us, we love love, right?
We love love.
Love. I got it tattooed on my wrist. I'm so passionate about it. It's really, it's beautiful. And so again, I think that happiness.
Do you think it's because they're doing this pandemic, they're taking more time to get to know each other and talk?
I think so, right? There is that 6 feet rule, 6-foot rule that applies to everything. I think that having the time and space to really be in this state of transition, which we all are. It doesn't matter how successful we were before the pandemic. Every single human has been experiencing this transitionary period.
Yes.
We've all lived together, right?
In one way or another.
We have been. And it's like, I think it's beautiful that technology allows us to connect virtually, but yes, they've been, at least the people that I am thinking of, they've been taking more time to really connect on a deeper level. And it's not just about the intimacy or the physicality of the relationship. It's about who are you as a person, and what is your 5-year goal? What's your 10-year goal? Where do you like to be? how do you need to be loved? Teach me how I can love you, and I'll teach you the same. And let's decide whether or not we want to engage in this conscious partnership, right? So
Right. And
it's
what's your non-negotiable? What is it that you just will not deal with? You got to know those things too.
exactly right. And again, it's this pandemic is helping us become more real within ourselves.
Yes.
So everything in my life starts with self. I know that. I'm conscious of it. When I am healthy, when I am wholesome, when I am, well taken care of, which I don't expect from anyone else. Now, thank goodness we attract who we are, because
Right, right.
everyone in my life understands, okay, if Fasana's taking a sabbatical, it's because she needs to get grounded again. She just needs some time to herself, right?
And
They know.
I'm so glad you said that, because we think we got to keep going, got to keep going, got to keep going.
Right.
Sometimes you just need to shut it down. Like, okay, I'm not doing nothing this week. It's
Exactly.
just, I need to be with me and God.
Exactly. Like, what do we do with our cell phones every time there's a new update? Do we not have to shut the phone down?
Sometimes, and you know what? Whenever I do that, whenever I just take a sabbatical, when I come back, it seems like I see everything so fresh, so different.
Yes.
Oh, okay. It's not, oh, okay, that's not like I thought it was. Okay, I'm seeing it in a different perspective.
Mhm.
It's all about the perspective.
It is. Perspective is everything. It's like taking a divine reboot, and
Yes.
as long as you communicate to the people that you're close to, and you let them know what you're doing and that you're good. I mean, and again, we as women, we need to sometimes give ourselves permission to do that, because we understand, and it's such a beautiful world we live in now, because we do understand mental health and
Hmm.
emotional health and the requirements that are necessary for us to function the way that we do. Because if you think about it, right? Again, let's talk about history for a second. When did women ever have as many rights and as much quote unquote power as we have today to really be
Yes.
our authentic selves? We're
This is it.
we're unprecedented if you think about it, right?
Right.
There's a lot of learning that we are all doing, but at the same time, there are women like yourself, like myself, that are so committed to this journey of being an inspiration to other people who are looking to better themselves. So it's
Right.
really just a matter at this point, if you're someone watching this and you're really, really craving a better quality life and you truly want to see change happen, then make the choice to commit to that change, because if
Yes.
we could do it, then so can you.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. Everybody, of course, we're in this pandemic, but everyone's talking about the renaissance that's going to happen after this is over. One day, the numbers are going to go down, and it's going to be like one day,
One day.
nobody's been infected. A
Right.
week, nobody's been affected. So it's going to be a renaissance. And so we always, in the past, when really bad things have happened, the renaissance come, and then it's like new music, it's like new art, new inventions, new
Yes.
life. So how do you see yourself? I know you got several businesses, but what do you see different on the other side of this pandemic?
That's a great question. You didn't tell me about this question. Oh boy.
This is
Um,
just a fun. It's just, don't make it hard, make it
what
fun.
do I
Or what
see?
would you like to see
I
once we get back to normal,
normal. Oh my
where
goodness.
we don't have to wear these masks and
I
of
see
course we. Hmm?
I see lip gloss in my future.
You said what?
I said
Lip gloss?
I see new lip gloss in my
Yeah, because you got to be careful with the lipstick. Because oh boy, that's a whole nother thing.
that's a conversation about healthy skin. Skin is your largest organ, folks. And if you're
Yes,
not taking care
yes,
of your skin, then there's work to do, right? So
yes.
I see myself doing more travel with my partner. We have some really big things on the horizon. So I see myself doing stepping into that, quote unquote dream life that I've always dreamed of and have been working towards for myself. I see myself taking my coaching business to another level and truly just stepping into that role of being a self-love, self-care teacher for women like ourselves, who
Mm.
are not necessarily, you know, as grounded and clear as we are, but they're struggling within themselves, and they don't realize that it's simply self-care and self-love is the answer, right? It's always the answer
Right.
to everything. So I see myself definitely on a beach somewhere where I will take some pictures and send them to you with so much love, because I can't wait. And hey, who knows? Maybe we'll be on a beach together. Who knows, right? I can't wait for the sun to
Yes.
come back up. But
Oh,
I
I'm
see.
looking.
I
Uh,
also, there's one more thing I wanted to add to your question. I also see myself embodying the levels of growth and self-discipline that I've learned and instilled in myself based on the choices I've made in the past 9 months. I definitely see myself carrying the wisdom and the lessons that I've learned, because again, the pandemic taught us all something, that life
oh,
can
girl.
change in an instant. So if you don't have your foundation and your structure set up,
In an
something,
instant.
yeah.
Is really is I have gone through different stages through the pandemic. When it first shut down, I said, okay, I know me. In order to keep my psyche good, I got to have some different little projects that are going to keep my mind occupied.
Yep.
So I did some things around the house. Then when springtime came, I planted a garden. I said, well, I had never planted a garden. I'm gonna plant a garden. In the garden, I did that. And then I got to a phase where I'm like, okay, now I'm just focusing on self-care.
Mhm.
So I love fragrances. So I started doing the aromatherapy, and I kind of changed some things with my bath and just really heightened my little girly things that I call them. And so now, getting ready for my birthday, we're still in. I said, what can I do different? So I said, I'm reaching out to some ladies. And then my husband asked me, he said, well, what do you want for your birthdays? You can't have a party or anything. So I said, well, I've been eyeing this Chanel purse.
Mhm.
Now I've had St. John that looked like the Chanel, but I said, I think it's time to get that purse. Because I've gotten jewelry and perfume, the Chanel. And I'm like, okay, I'm 61. If I don't do it now, when am I gonna do it?
I vote
So
yes. I vote yes to the purse.
yeah. So now it's to the point where I'm focusing more on me.
Yes.
And my career, I'm not, I'm to a point in life, I'm not the hustle, hustle, hustle.
Right.
I have my clients. When everything opens up, I love speaking to groups.
Yeah.
But it's I'm focusing just about Arnessa. This is and it's not being selfish because I'm there for the people that I need to be for, but I'm really my project now, because my husband, you always got some projects. But my project now is me.
I love it. I love that. I think this is going to be like your best season yet, because it's time. It's time for you to truly just honor
It's
everything about
time.
yourself and take you to the next level, because only God knows what blessings he's going to shower upon your life once you truly honor yourself in that way. So I'm really happy for you. I can't wait to see the new you.
Well, I'm just excited because this is something that I've never done. My focus has always been on the family, this or the business or that. So now it's about me, working on me, and the things that how sometimes you say, well, one of these days I'm gonna do this, or one of these days I'm gonna do that. I might even take up art, get some canvases and do some kind of art or something. I'm just to the point where for the next, because I'm in my 60s and then my 70s, because I'm planning on living till I'm 100. So it's some things I'm just gonna do different, but it's gonna be more focused on I'm the project now.
Exactly. Project you. And you know,
Project,
or rather project me, right? Because we're
project me.
us. And it's like, I think that it's so crazy that you're sharing this because just learning about you and seeing some of the things that you've done and accomplished just based on the social media connection we have, it's so admirable. And what's also definitely not a coincidence, because we know there's no such thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually in that same place in my life, believe it or not, because you know, since my teenage years, I've felt this calling to really serve the world. And there are phases that we go through as women when we hear that calling and when we receive it, when we commit to it, when we surrender to that calling. And it's like, I've come to a point in my life where I agree and believe in everything that you just said for myself, where it's like, I've done so much growth in the last 15, 20 years. Like, no one believes when I tell them that I was an overweight, anxious, depressed, very, very angry, masculine girl.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, now look, you're
people
gonna
don't.
have to explain because
I'll show
you
you. I'll
don't
send
look like you were ever overweight.
thank
Your bone
you.
structure and everything.
Thank you. It's God. It's just I wouldn't have gotten this far if it weren't for truly learning how to hear him and feel him, right? And embody the message that I'm supposed to be the messenger for, you know? So it took me a good 17 years to really understand what I'm supposed to be doing different in order to have my body respond the way that I want it to, right? And be more confident in my skin. And see, some people might perceive this conversation of women like us wanting to look our best from a shallow or egotistical standpoint, when the
It's
way
not.
that, and tell me if you feel this too, and I'd love to hear your take on it, which is that my body is my temple.
Yes.
My body is my home. It's the vessel that God gave me, and it's my job to take the best care of that vessel, right? Not to mention, you know,
Good
again,
steward.
right? When you feel good, it's because you're probably looking your best, and then
Yes.
you perform at your best. And it's like, I just, I love the fact that we don't judge ourselves the way that much of society may look at us and judge us.
Mm-mm.
Rather, we stay focused on our intentions, we stay clear on our goals. And when people meet us, it's like, oh, okay, she's not just, you know, what cracks me up whenever I'm at networking events nowadays. And if I'm looking this good, because I think I keep progressing physically, which is really cool. I just keep getting
Uh-huh.
better and better. But what cracks me up is when I go to networking events and people that don't know me, they ask me, so what do you do? Are you an international model? Is that what you do? And I'm like, I'm a divine spiritual healing role model. I mean, it's such a compliment, you know, and I receive it always. It's just, it's so beautiful when women like us really do take the time to I guess, ravel the levels, the layers of what makes up who we are, because then we're able to have the beauty, the brilliance, the brain, like the
We
everything. Right?
we
We're
changed
the
we changed the paradigm shift when it comes to taking care of ourselves and looking good. And there's nothing wrong with looking good. Uh, I plan on when I'm 100, I'm still gonna be looking like
to
this.
be the flyest, most beautiful, gorgeous 100-year-old woman that ever existed. And you know what? When you turn 100, I'm going to interview you, so you can share.
Yeah.
I'll probably be interviewing you a lot sooner than that, but I mean, it's so beautiful because, again, like, when I look at you, I see spirit working through you. And it's like, I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you because it's not easy, especially for women, to change paradigms. We've been working on this for a long time. So I'm very proud of you. I can't
I
wait to see.
thank you because the other day I was talking to someone and we were, you know, both of us around the same age. And we were like, we were raised to believe this and that. And it's like, well, we just taught all the wrong stuff? Or has things just totally changed? from the way we're brought up. And then we were saying, well, maybe it's because we were raised in the South, a lot of times in the South, it's just totally, when it comes to women, I'll tell you, we have had a hard time in the South. But, and then it's the way we were raised. Your mothers wanted to keep you safe. So maybe if you didn't look too good, wouldn't nobody look at you. You wouldn't have to worry about anybody messing with you.
Right.
It was just a whole bunch of stuff. But now we said we shattering all those things that we were raised with doing and not doing. And so now it's like it's recreating who we are. Because we're not the same people we were growing up in the 70s and 80s. Things are totally different.
They are. And the role of a woman, like, what does it even mean? I remember watching a movie yesterday. I was so inspired. I love watching the female empowerment, documentaries that they put out. There's one on Netflix right now about Helen Reddy, and it's called I Am Woman.
Okay,
and I don't know.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where like you will cry because you'll feel it because you are it, right? Like, and it's just it's beautiful because at the end of the day, like, I mean, what does it mean to be a woman? I mean, for women like us, we're not satisfied until we tap into that infinite potential that exists inside of us.
Yes.
We're not truly happy until we've truly created the change that we came here to make, right? And so there's a lot of heartbreak and heartache and lessons and trials and tribulations and all of this stuff that happens. But at the end of the day, it's like, if you don't walk in faith, if you don't believe in yourself and develop the confidence, because confidence is not something we're born with. Confidence is a skill set that we have to learn.
Exactly.
Right? When we develop that, it's like one of the best compliments that I've been getting lately in this past year is, Fasana, you are consistent. You are real, you're authentic. And it's like, it took me, I remember when I hired my first life coach, it was about 8 years ago, I hired my first coach. And I remember asking her, because the way our arrangement was set up, I would ask her a question and then she would coach me and guide me on it. And my question to her on one of our calls was, how do I choose which personality to show up as, like, so that I'm being real? How do I, like, what energy do I bring to a situation like this? And her response to me was, and again, this is what birthed my coaching career, right? Her response was, you'll just know. And I'm like, okay, but I don't just know. That's why I'm asking. And it was only, it was only once I accepted that I am this beautiful super nerd, passionate, compassionate, empathic, wise woman, that then I went to learn about energetics and just, how to understand other people and why they operate the way they do. Then I was able to really show up and serve at the highest level and hold space.
So you had to receive, just like people receive you, you had to receive yourself to who you truly are and be all right with that.
And that takes time. So
girl, yes.
Keep doing what you're doing, because you will grow into the best version of yourself. Your job is being consistent and never, never, ever, never, ever, ever give up on yourself.
No. I am a lifelong learner. I love people that I can, like yourself. You've given me so many gems today of things. I mean, that's what I love. I love great conversation like we're having now. Now, I want you to, this is going to be the fun part. We're just girls talking girls.
Yep.
What is your guilty pleasure?
Oh, my guilty pleasure.
And it could be anything. It could be anything.
That's such a good question. I love, like, when I tell you that my love for food is so real. Whew, I'm getting hot just talking about it. Whew, my guilty pleasure is when I shut out the world to take care of my needs first. It's ordering some great food or making a homemade meal with so much love, and knowing that, you know, I'm worth it, knowing that I deserve this, and that I've gotten to a place in my life where I can actually say that I attract everything I desire. Like, it comes to me. And my guilty pleasure, it's literally I engage in my guilty pleasure on a daily basis, because it's asking myself, what do you need, right? Like, where do you want to go? Like, because again, we talked about this before we started recording today. It was like, my job is to make sure that I can hear God, because he guides me and leads me to wherever it is that I'm supposed to be. Whomever needs healing for themselves, I am naturally guided into a space where I can show up, be authentic, be the quirky, funny, super nerd that I am, and still have such a massive impact on people, right? So my guilty pleasure, I'm kind of, I mean, like, yeah, my guilty pleasures are things that I've integrated into my life and into my teachings, because I wouldn't have been able to be who I am and just keep getting better from here if I didn't look at myself like the holistic being that I am, right? Like, a lot of people talk about ego a lot, and they shun the ego. They talk badly about our egos. But if you think about the fact that we're all spiritual beings having a human experience, well, ego is part of the human experience. If you don't understand yourself at that level, then that's something that I recommend doing. Because if my husband doesn't stroke my ego, then we're not going to have the most effective, healthy relationship. And if I don't stroke his ego, then it's the same outcome, right? Like, there's so many layers to what makes us up as human beings. So those are my guilty pleasures. Honoring myself always, regardless of what people think about me, without judgment, just doing it because I know, like you said, I'm going to show up even better and stronger.
Yes. Now, I know you live in Canada, but if you could live anywhere else in the world,
Hawaii.
You love Hawaii?
I love Hawaii. Hawaii is the love culture. Aloha means love. So Hawaii is such a feminine place to be, energetically speaking. Nobody rushes there. It's like the opposite of Toronto, right? So Hawaii, I love California. I love Miami. Yeah, Hawaii would be my answer.
We're getting ready to close. Like I said, we're going to have all your information underneath this video. But as we leave, I want you to just leave. I mean, you've given us so much wisdom, but I just want you to share some wisdom with the viewers.
Okay. Regardless of what is happening around you in the world today, remember who you are and remember whose you are. Remember that you are a beautiful, multi-dimensional, energetic, divine being that was sent here to Earth with a beautiful life purpose, with a mission, with a calling. And it's okay. It's actually necessary. We need you to step into your personal power. We need you to learn how to love, respect, and honor yourself as the incredible person, individual, human being that you are. There is going to be learning, there are going to be trials and tribulations and much universal testing that you will experience, but just know that you are strong enough to grow through what you go through. And if you ever need any help, any assistance, know that there are people like Dr. Arnessa and myself that are here to help you along the way.
That was beautiful. Look, I'm going to have to send you this so you can use that as a public service announcement, because that was on time for this time. For, like they say, it's for such a time as this. Well, I want to thank you for tuning in today. And remember, this is my birthday month. We're going to be giving out some special treats. So please subscribe, like, and share. Be blessed and live your dreams.